Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Mike, your physical therapist. And yes, we are here tonight. We're going to be interviewing Miss Helene Thériault. She is an occupational therapist based in Canada, and she's going to be talking about how to start your coaching business. She's also coaching to how to be a better occupational therapist. We'll be back in a few seconds, okay?
HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice management solution that you're looking for.
Good evening, my Facebook friends, YouTube, and podcast people. If you're watching live, comment live. Watching on the replay, comment replay. Type in replay or live. A lot of people would ask me, why do you keep on saying that? Because, sometimes I forget what to say, so I just say that, right? Anyway, thank you again for coming live. I see people who are watching. Appreciate you. And today or tonight, we're going to be interviewing Miss Helene Thériault. She is an occupational therapist. But before I keep on going, check out medbridgeeducation.com. Use the code alternative. You get 40%, not just 10, not 20, not 30, but 40% discount, right? Well, we got someone saying hello in our Facebook page. Say hello, my friend. I'm not seeing your name there, but thank you very much for watching. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in our guest for tonight, Helene, or introduce our guest for tonight. Our guest for tonight is actually a world-renowned speaker. Beat that, ladies and gentlemen, world-renowned. She is a holistic coach and an educator. She's fluent. I'm running out of English. Fluent in both French and English. Beat that, ladies and gentlemen. She's actually in Canada. We're going to ask her where in Canada, right? So, with her company called Function First Coaching, her mission is to change the face of healthcare by empowering service providers, professionals, and leaders to build a sustainable practice and improve patients' clinical outcome. Without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in Helene. Helene, could you please tell us how to pronounce your name again? I know both in French and in English.
Yeah, I always introduce myself in English first, so it's Hélène, and in Français you can say Hélène. Hélène. So a little trick I teach my friends is to use your L and your N and say that super quickly together, Hélène. But Hélène is perfect.
Perfect. And then your last name, Thériault?
Oh, that's a tougher one. So in English, I'll say Thériault, and the LT will be silent. In French, in my opinion, has a better twist. Hélène Thériault. So Thériault.
Hélène Thériault. Merci beaucoup.
Très bien.
Bien. I'm mixing it with Spanish and French. So. All right. Could you please tell us again who you are? What do you really do? I see your qualifications. You got a bachelor's degree in OT. You got a master's degree in education. Could you please tell us how have you transitioned from? I mean, healthcare there in Canada is just amazing. And why transition from being an OT to coaching, and now you're traveling around the world speaking, sharing the value of what an OT really does? And could you please share that in our group? Of course, that's a lot of questions, but go ahead and take the stage.
Just guide me along if I forget one of the questions. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey. So I've been an occupational therapist for 20 years. I'm continued to be registered as an occupational therapist. I would say 20% of my business, of my time, continues to work in traditional occupational therapy role, if that makes sense. So I'm working, but everything I do at Function First Coaching has a coaching element to it. So when I'm working with clients with disabilities or illnesses, I'm doing a service that's called Coaching for Return to Work. And for me, what happened in my journey is 10 years into my career, it wasn't sitting well with me that I graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Occupational Therapy. everyone that graduated after me in Canada in 2003 graduated with a master's degree. So I always knew I was going to get a master's. I just didn't know which master's I would get. I also knew that I was quite passionate about educating and presenting and developing programs. So 10 years in my career, when I decided to do a master's, I thought it was going to be a great time when I was pregnant with my first child. Perfect time to do a master's. Not so much. However, I got through a Master of Adult Education. It took 5 years while I had my 2 kids. But I just was following my passion, my interests. And as healthcare practitioners, we all spend so much time educating our clients, their caregivers, and our colleagues. So it just seemed like such a good fit. I had no idea which door it would open. And in hindsight, I'm so glad for my journey that I followed my heart, my passion, my interests. And it's really led me to studying a theory. Now, hopefully I don't bore anyone, but I won't go too much in detail with theory. But for those 5 years in adult education, I studied what was called transformational learning theory. And it really impacted how I started to develop programs for other organizations. Then I just by fluke ended up taking a course after I finished my master's and promised my husband I was done with heavy education, that I sat in a coaching course. And that's when a lot of stuff changed for me. And I saw the missing ingredient of that theory that I'd been studying for 5 years, which is about behavioral change. And I sat in awe the entire time of the training, probably catching some flies in my mouth, when just hearing the secret ingredient on what we need to do to support our client for sustained behavioral change. And so it led to me becoming a certified coach. It led to me really looking at how can I do this, and I really wanted to do this with other organizations, but it just was challenging to make it work in the traditional healthcare system. And so it's when I opened up in 2017, I opened up Function First Coaching, even though my mission, my drive was never to be a business owner. It was really, truly when I saw the impact for myself that the coach approach had in healthcare. And it took quite some time for me to figure out how I take that secret formula of those coaching technique, because I had learned it. Coaching is very, very, for those that may not be familiar with coaching, it's very popular in the leadership world. So in my class, for example, most people were directors, they worked in corporate, and there was very few of us that were in healthcare. There's 2 of us that were in a healthcare background. And so I had to take what I learned and I had to twist it and adapt it and play with what I learned to make it work in healthcare. And so long story short, it led to me developing my own model, my own framework, my own intellectual property. When I was I was given the opportunity to present for our National Occupational Therapy Association in Canada, and to present about how do we use a coach approach to support our clients to return to work. So I knew if I was going to support other occupational therapists to do this, that I needed my own methodology, my own framework, so that I could tailor the training to fit in healthcare. And so since then, it started, because I'm an OT, it started with teaching, supporting OTs to use a coach approach in their practice. And since then, it's led to teaching it to family practitioners, physiotherapists, rehab assistants, kinesiologists, so many, many professions. It's something that all healthcare professionals can benefit from.
So do you teach this in Canada only, or you travel around the world teaching it?
Yeah, well, because of beautiful coronavirus, it's a lot of it is set up to do virtual. So I offer this training virtually or in person. And it is around the world. An example, Mike and I were chatting briefly earlier. I'll be going to Saudi Arabia to support an organization in healthcare to use a coach approach and to incorporate a coaching culture in their organization to really start shifting for that organization, practicing from a curative approach to a preventative approach so that there's more
Perfect.
success. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, let me go back to
Mm.
the term coaching.
Yeah.
We also teach, ladies and gentlemen, we also teach the mentor method called MENTR, the mentor method. And part of the letter O is called one-on-one coaching. Letter M is meet a need, E is you educate, N is you network, T is a team, and then O is one-on-one coaching. It's very important that you get a coach, ladies and gentlemen. It's funny that Helen mentioned that in the business world, coaching is a big deal.
Mhm.
Consulting is a big deal.
Mhm.
So there's three C's, ladies and gentlemen: the coaching, consulting, and what's the other C? Ellen. Uh,
Coaching, the consulting. You mentioned mentoring earlier.
no, I
Was
forgot.
it
Well,
was
anyway, coaching, consulting, and I forgot. Well, anyway, so in the business world, you got that three C's. All I remember is the two C's: the coaching and consulting. Business owners, they get coaches and consultants in their businesses, and us therapists, we have a hard time getting a coach, getting a consultant. And there's a reason why in the hospital, okay, PT consult, OT consult, or and then here we are trying to run our own business, trying to be better for ourselves, and we don't want to get a coach.
Mm,
Even awesome great basketball players, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, they have a coach. Does that mean that the coach is better player than that player? No. I mean, Phil Jackson is definitely not even half of Michael Jackson, but he's coaching him. And even famous actors and actresses, they have, coaches, and let's just say Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm sure he has an actor coach, but the coach that coached him is not as famous as Leonardo DiCaprio. So it's very important that if you want to reach your next level, you got to find a coach, ladies and gentlemen. If you're watching in the Alternative Career Group or in our podcast or YouTube, you got to have a coach. I wouldn't be able to start my Jerry Hab clinic, our brick and mortar, our staffing and everything if I didn't pay a coach. You got to pay to play, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, yes, there are free coaches out there, but it's very important that you're paying someone. Why? Because people who pay attention.
mm,
People who pay attention. If you get it for free, there's nothing wrong. Freebie, go to watching YouTube right now, obviously, right? Uh, there's nothing wrong with that. But like what I said, if you paid for your CEU, continuing education units, you actually listen to it more because you've invested on it.
mm.
Speaking of that, I'm gonna shout out to our CEU, medbridgeeducation.com. Use the code alternative 40% discount. All right. So at medbridgeeducation.com, use the code alternative. And when you yourself you're buying that CE, you listen to it more. I worked for someone else before and they sent me to CEU classes. I'm like just bored there. So I didn't pay for it. Yes, I'm thankful for the company. But now that I'm paying for my own CEU, APTA membership, and when I attend, I listen. I write things down now. Let's go back to Elaine. So, Helen, or I'm just gonna call you Helen, since we're talking to
Perfect.
most of the people here in the United States.
Yeah.
So now there in Canada. You're
Mhm.
traveling to Saudi Arabia, right?
Yeah.
Uh, how do you connect to these business owners or associations? Would
Mm.
you be teaching your students how to learn how to be a speaker too, how to be a trainer? I saw on your website that you do that too. Can you please share us, some OTs in the group who wants to be a speaker, who wants to
Mhm.
travel, who wants to learn how to start their own coaching business too? Do you do that too? Do you teach them too, or you just coach us?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say this is for any healthcare practitioner, anyone in healthcare, from OT to physio to kinesiologists, OTAs, PTAs. And really, my hope is to inspire everyone that has interest in maybe providing some speaking engagement or starting to do some educational presentation, to start exploring your strengths and your knowledge that you're passionate about and that you want to share, and to identify who is that target audience that would really benefit from your knowledge. For me, once I realized, I did do that master's of adult education, and I learned quite a bit about key adult learning principles and how we best learn and how to help people have the information to stick and so on. But I looked at other programs that this was their bread and butter to train any of us to become educators. And so it's a great question, Mike, because I get asked that more and more. And it is part of my business plan for 2023 to explore what that would look like to offer a train the trainer program. Because what if that would be so meaningful and valuable to support others in being able to share their content, their knowledge with confidence, and being able to showcase their information in a way that it will help the attendees, the learners, to really walk away with some helpful information to make an immediate change in their practice. Does that help to answer, Mike?
Yep. I'm actually looking at your website. It's very,
Yeah.
very impressive. I mean, look at this. I
Oh,
mean, ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching a live, comment live, watching a replay, comment replay. But I just wanted to, you guys gotta check out her website, functionfirstcoaching.com, and check
mhm.
it out. Go to the somewhere in the what you call this, the event section,
premiumbeat.com.
and you will see all the summit and the conferences where Hélène is going to be speaking, and you can follow her there and check her out if you want to just dive into her uh, simple, not super simple, virtual classes. Or if you are somewhere in the area that she's speaking, imagine from Canada, she's traveling to the Middle East, and then she's going to be traveling somewhere in Missouri here in the United States, and some other places here too. Imagine that. If she can do it somewhere in Canada, there's no reason why you can't do it here in the States too. And sometimes our own limiting beliefs, ladies and gentlemen, it's what's stopping us from reaching our full potential. I'm not downplaying her bachelor's degree. I had a bachelor's degree too. But like what I said, like what she said, that's what she said, right? Like what Hélène said, uh, most of the OTs and PTs, they have master's degree and doctorate degrees. And
Mhm.
here we are trying to, limit ourselves from just, not just, working as a therapist where we've got so much potential.
Mhm.
You got so much potential in you, ladies and gentlemen. Whoever you are, you're watching. I see 4 people watching right now. There was like a lot earlier, but for those 4 people watching right now, you got so much potential. What are you waiting for? You're waiting for an approval for someone else that you can do this, or you can start your own business or a coaching business. Well, guess what? If you need some approval, go talk to Hélène, and then maybe she could guide you. Technically, look at Hélène. What did Hélène? Hélène did she created her own program.
Mhm.
To be honest, I could have created. I have some 20 published books. Those books we could create it as a PowerPoint, and those PowerPoint could be my own presentation. That's what we do with our dementia class, misunderstanding dementia class. Of course, we have the CEU, the Alzheimer's class. Speaking of that, I got to promote that too. If you want to be an Alzheimer's disease and dementia care seminar, ladies and gentlemen, you got to check this out. drmikechua.com/ADDC. Okay. If you want to be a certified dementia practitioner. So, all right. So let's go back to Hélène. So Hélène, so you created your own curriculum, and you
Mhm.
take this. Have you published that book or something?
That
No,
I do have a workbook. It's
a
not a
workbook.
published
Hmm.
workbook, but it's included in that level 1 training, and there's a heavy workbook as well for the level 2
There you
of
go.
certification program. It is also on my business agenda. Will it be in 2023? I've been hinted quite a few times that I should put one together. I think
Yeah.
I will know when the time is right.
Yeah, maybe like a free ebook. Speaking of ebook, if you guys want the mentor book or how to find your alternative career, we got a free ebook that you can download in our website, alternativehealthcarecareers.com. Download that, ladies and gentlemen. It's free, and it's also available on Amazon if you want to buy it. So check that out. And of course, I'm challenging Helene to publish her own book too. Good evening for those people who are watching live. I see Tokisha. Thank you very much. And then I'm running out of English. Helene. So you created that workbook. You created that program. What will be our next step if we want to reach out to we want to be a coach like you? You mentioned train the trainer. Are you offering that too, or you're just coaching us how to be a coach? How does that work?
Yeah, so the Dive into a Coach Approach certification program has 3 different levels. The first level is often offered through associations. So that could be an avenue if you were interested in your association to offer that. It's also it can be offered through universities. So it can be pretty strategic to kind of reduce that cost for yourself. But the level 1 training is really meant for that introduction to a coach approach. And the reasons people will sign up there'll be a variety. For some people, it'll be because they want an alternative rehab career and they want to maybe become a life coach, or some people that have done the 3 levels of the training, they will start offering coaching services to clients with ADHD. Several have gone to offer parent coaching for those that work in pediatrics, for example. So people's journey will vary, but it all starts with that first level. For many people, it's also using it, not changing anything in terms of their occupation. They stay in the same job with the same employer, but after they finish the coach, the first level of the training, they have a model, a framework, they have tools that they can start using and then practice. And the reason I did the level 1, the whole reason I did all the 3 levels is so that others can experience what I got to experience. Because for me, when the day I started that first coaching session practice, 14 years into my practice, I was on the verge of burnout. That burnout door was right in front of me. I was running from one client to another. None of my clients were, none. Many of my clients weren't following through with the action plan. I was working harder than they were. A lot of the pain points, Mike, that I see when I look at your Facebook community, and a lot of the same pain points that they experience. And for me, my hope when people do the training is that they get to experience what I get to experience. And I hear people's success stories all the time after they finish the training, and that makes my day. So when someone says, Helen, I didn't change anything other than shifting my perception, other than starting to use some of the techniques, and my practice shifted. I was able to add a new service. I was able to be more confident. I was able to improve my clinical outcomes. So people will do that training for many reasons, and it will lead to different paths. So that's what I think is so neat. I've seen people use this, do the training, and they work in acute care. They have 15 minutes by the bedside with patients. And I never thought that the coach approach would have such a significant impact. I thought that you needed in order to use the coach approach, that you needed a good 45 an hour minutes with your clients. And they've proved me wrong, which is so fascinating. So I keep hearing these different success stories, and that's what keeps me going, Mike, to be honest.
There you go. Well, I want to share your video real quick to the group. Could you please let me know, is this the right thing? Okay, let me just play it real quick for the group, and that way they could see what the first coaching is. So all right.
To a coach approach model was developed to wrap our heads around and capture the big picture of the purpose of a coaching dialogue. The model uses the analogy of diving under the client's iceberg in order to go beyond what we see on the surface, where only the results and strengths are observed, in other words, behaviors. The intent of the coaching dialogue is to see more than the tip of the iceberg, to dive under the surface to discover what lies beneath, so that we can understand and learn about a client's habits, experiences, emotions, and thinking related to their situation and their values. This understanding then helps the coach to dive even deeper with the client in order to challenge beliefs, attitudes, judgments, perceptions, and assumptions. With the desired aims of expanding beliefs, forming new ways of thinking, and broadening perceptions. A coach dialogue enables the client to gain awareness and aha moment of their specific situation, issue, concern, or event. This new consciousness creates a shift in their thinking. It is the catalyst for exploring how the client wants to move forward and establish an action plan where new, more effective and positive results can then be achieved and strengths can be observed. A coach approach dialogue can propel change where, for example, a client's strength is dialed up, or in cases where the strength is overdone, is dialed down. Once a new method or practice is tried, the client informally assesses the result and then decides to habituate it into daily practice, leading to sustaining positive change over time.
Perfect. Let me just turn that off. There you go. All right. So I'm assuming that's yours in your video there. So
yeah, so that's part of the level 1 of the training where people are learning about the model and how the 4 steps of the framework fit within that model. But that video really showcases, right, that purpose of having a coach approach. And for me, that reason for burnout, I now realize once I reflected, why is this having such an impact? And it's when I realized, my gosh, Helen, all these years that you've been hitting sort of like a block because you're working with your clients where the barrier is about perception. So like that video said, the perception could be about belief. It could be about our clients' attitudes, their motivation, their judgment. And we know these barriers, we can often identify them. We have tools and assessments that can help us identify them. But what I was lacking is, what do I do about it? And sometimes I could identify it, but I didn't have the tools. Well, now how do I have a conversation with my client that's not moving forward? Not because of their injury, but they're not moving forward because maybe they have a negative attitude about what's happened to them. Like, how do I have that dialogue and how do I maintain that client rapport? And so that's where the coach approach is magical. And you've talked, Mike, as well about how as entrepreneurs or healthcare professionals, how we could benefit from having our own coach. And so there's 2 angles to it. And so and that's why I continue to do that private coaching, because for me, having a coach, and the studies are clear on this, for people that have coaches, you will get to your goal faster. And so what if, as healthcare practitioners, what if we had the skills to be able to use that coach approach with our clients so they can get where they want faster? So it just is that kind of secret formula that has excited me, and really being able to see that sustained behavioral change and being able to walk myself out of a job, essentially. That's what we want as healthcare practitioners. We want our clients to be able to self-manage their health. And so that coach approach really empowers that self-management skills that our clients are needed.
love it. I love that. The coach approach. You know what? I just remembered what's the other C? Coaching, consulting, and
no!
Counseling.
Which one is it? Coaching,
Counseling.
Oh, counseling. Yes, yes.
Oh
Okay.
God,
Yeah.
that's a tip of my tongue, right? So the three C's that is really coming out in this world: coaching, coaching. What is it?
Coaching,
Consulting
counseling, and
and
consult.
counseling.
Yeah, yeah.
So this is where we come in. We can do all three of that technically as occupational and physical therapists. We can do coaching, we can counsel, and we can actually consult. This basically all three of them encompasses us. So again, thank you very much, Helene. Where can they reach you? Where can they find you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you shared the website. That's a fantastic place for those interested in, wow, I'm so curious about this. I want to know more. The resource page of our site, so the functionfirstcoaching.com/resource, you'll find some free tools. You'll even find a free online module, and it's sort of like a prelude to that first level. And you get to see a sense for those that are interested in becoming educators or presenters. A lot of the techniques you're going to see in that free online module. And so that could be a fantastic place to start. And Mike, there's also, I believe, a link that you'll provide and share, so a freebie for your community. And so that would be under functionfirstcoaching.com/ and alternative-rehab. And that tool is called a dive-in goals that you can use either for yourself or with your clients, your patients. And by using that tool, you're coaching yourself or you're using that coach approach with your clients. And so it's been a really successful tool. And I also provided in that first level of the training, but it's available for your community, Mike, on that link.
All right. Well, thank you very much again, Helene. Appreciate you. A lot of people are sending messages. Thank you very much for the people who are watching. Appreciate you. Again, thank you very much. But before I let you go,
Yes.
always remember the word fast. FAST, letter F. Letter F is first, function first. No, letter F, find friends that will bring out the best in you because you are the average of the 5 people you hang out with. So, who are you hang out with, ladies and gentlemen? Hang out with people who are going to bring out the best in you. Okay. So, if you want to be a coach, talk to Eileen. If you want to be a certified dementia practitioner, check out this class by Lisette Clute. She's going to teach that certified dementia practitioner class. So, check that out. And then, of course, letter A. You got to learn how to take action. All this stuff that we're doing is not going to do me good. It's not even going to do Eileen good if you don't take action. Imperfect action beats perfect in action. A lot of us, most therapists, you know, we want to analyze everything. That's fine. You read the chart, you analyze and everything like that. But what we lack is the taking of action. We have what you call passive range of motion for our patients, right? We also have the active assistive range of motion. And we have the active range of motion. Which is better, the passive, active assistive, or the active range of motion? Obviously, the active range of motion, which is the active movement, the action taking. When we have a patient, like a stroke patient, like, we're talking about stroke or whatever, yes, there's a time and place we can be passive. There's a time and place we gotta, do an active assistive. But of course, there's a time and place you let the patient do it on their own. The same thing with you. If you want to take action, if you want to find your alternative career, be the best for your whatever you're doing, what you want to do, you got to take action, guys. We like to complain. We're like, oh yeah, we're complaining. I can't find this. Well, guess what? Instead of complaining there, take action, submit that resume. Yeah, I've submitted 1,000 resumes here. Submit 1,000 more. All right. You're gonna fail. Let's face it. But the more fails, the better because that's closer to your goals. Okay, take action. Next letter is letter S. You gotta learn how to share and subscribe. No, actually, what I'm talking about is shoot for the moon. Why? Because you keep shooting for the moon, you're gonna miss it. When you miss it, you're gonna be landing with the stars. Today, I kept shooting for the moon. Helene kept shooting for the moon. Right now, I landed with a star named Helene Thériault. All right, you gotta keep shooting, ladies and gentlemen. It's not how many times you keep shooting. When you shoot it and that ball went inside the hoop. Well, guess what? Do you stop? No, you keep shooting it. again and again. That's where that's where how you're gonna succeed in life, ladies and gentlemen. You guys do it again and again. All right, and last but not least is letter T is teach it. Why? Because when you hear it, you forget. When you see it, you remember. But when you're actually teaching it, that's how you actually understand it. And that's what Helene is doing. She's teaching us how you start your own coaching program in your area. Again, thank you very much, Helene. Appreciate you. Any last parting wisdom, or you're good?
Just I thank you and shout out to you, Mike. I've always appreciated how authentic your approach is. I love the DJ vibe that you bring, and I really appreciate being English as second language as well. That you share your story and that you inspire people like me to push through what could be uncomfortable or what could be a fear to be able to do this kind of work. And so I just want to acknowledge you and applaud you for the inspiration for everyone in this community.
Well, appreciate that too. I always tell this, it's not all about us, ladies and gentlemen. When we went into this profession, we thought about, I'm going to be this. No, it's not about us. It's about a bigger purpose. What is that bigger purpose in life? Once you found that bigger purpose in life, you're going to be fine. All right. Again, thank you very much. Appreciate it for those people who are watching. Stacy, appreciate you. Another Facebook user said, awesome. Thank you for the information. And then Cynthia, thank you very much. Appreciate you. But again, be awesome, be great, be excellent. And we will see you on our next episode, my Facebook friends, or YouTube and podcast. We don't want to forget our podcast, right? Bye.
HelloNote is a truly therapist-friendly practice management solution with integrated EMR that will enhance workflow, efficiency, and patient care. HelloNote reduces error and allows you to spend more time with your patients. It comes integrated with billing. Claims are generated once a note is completed. You can bill with one click and a patient portal, which streamlines the patient intake process. Beautifully engineered and cloud-based for easy accessibility, the software works on all platforms. You can access patient records from anywhere. We also offer 24/7 support. HelloNote is the practice management solution